Okay, so today we will be discussing about free fall. Okay, now in the previous classes we were discussing about the universal law of gravity in details, right? Now in the universal law of gravity we have studied that the gravitational force, of course this is a non-contact force that we know of. Now force of gravity will be directly proportional to the product of the masses of the two objects, right? And it will be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two. Let us revise a little bit about that now. Okay, the statement of the universal law I have already given you guys, so I hope that you have memorized the derivation, right? The statement and the derivation that I have given in the WhatsApp group, right? I hope that you have memorized those things. Now let us revise a few things here. Now let us consider that there are two objects, দুটো অবজেক্ট আছে এখানে, ঠিক আছে? এখন only if the object have a certain amount of mass, gravitational pull will be applicable, right? You understood this part in details. Now let us consider the mass of these objects as m1 and m2, and the distance between these two objects be r. Okay, you can consider that to be d, x, whatever. Okay, now the universal law of gravity that states that force of gravitation between these two objects, is directly proportional to the product of the mass of these two objects, product of the mass of the first object and the second object. Okay, that is directly proportional to the multiply of these masses. Clear? Easy, right? This is the first equation. This was the first equation. Okay, now the second equation would be, the second statement would be, the force of gravity is inversely proportional to the distance between these two objects. These two objects are being lying at a certain distance, right? The force of gravity will be inversely proportional to the square of the distance between these two objects. And what does that mean? This literally means that as the distance between these two objects increases, the force of gravity will be reduced, and as the distance between these two objects decreases, the force of gravity will increase, right? Now let us combine both of these equations together. Let us combine both of these equations together. So we will find out that easy, right? Now this is the sign of proportionality, but we cannot utilize this. Now we have to remove the sign of proportionality, and to do that what we need to do, all of you guys know this by now, right? Now we need to put a constant. The constant that we need to put here is capital G. This is the universal gravitational constant. We all know this thing, right? This is the final expression for the universal law of gravity. This is the final expression for the universal law of gravity, right? Now this was the universal law of gravity that we were discussing about, and we needed a gravitational constant, right? So capital G represents the universal gravitational constant, and the value for this thing is, the value for the capital G is 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11. Now what? Up to this portion we guys have discussed. Shiny, mute your mic. Hey, everyone mute your microphones now. You don't need it, right? Now just try to understand this thing, this scenario. We guys have discussed about this entire phenomena till here, right? The universal law of gravity and the universal gravitational constant, right? Now this is not done yet. Try to understand. Force of gravity is given by universal gravitational constant into mass of object 1 into mass of object 2 divided by the distance between the objects square. Okay, now write these things in your copy properly. This is a class note. Okay, now here we have one thing here, capital G, right? Universal gravitational constant. The value for capital G will remain same no matter what the circumstances are, right? It will remain constant all over the entire universe. That was the theory. Understood? Now, how do we calculate this value? All of you guys are familiar with the algebraic expressions, right? We guys are we have studied algebra for so long now. Let us just change this equation a little bit. F into r square divided by m1 into m2 gives you the value of capital G. Just rearranging a little bit, we will get force into distance square divided by mass 1 into mass 2. Easy, right? So you can literally say that this is the formula by which we can find out the force of gravity, universal gravitational constant, right? Now see, the force of gravity may vary, the masses of the objects will of course vary, right? Now the distance between the object, it may also vary. Every single data here can vary, right? But no matter what kind of data you put there, no matter what kind of values you get, no matter what the force of gravity between two celestial objects are, the distance between the two objects are, the masses of the objects are, everything will count up to the same value every single time. That is the funniest thing here. Actually, that is the most interesting thing here. The ratio will always remain same. See, for example, if I am calculating the gravitational force between myself, I am an object, right? I have a mass, I have certain amount of mass of my own, right? Now, if I am calculating the gravitational force between my body and probably this marker, it is also an object, it has also mass, right? So I can calculate the gravitational force no matter how negligible that is, but I can do that, right? Now see, if I do that, I will find out certain value of F. I will find that one, right? Of course, the value would be very negligible, but I will have something, right? I will get a value. Now, the distance between the two objects is very short, right? Very small. Now, the mass of the two objects, me and this marker, very negligible, right? So if you divide all of this value, if you multiply, divide, calculate all of this value, if you put all of this value here in this equation and calculate the value of this entire equation, you will get 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11. And now consider the sun, the earth. Okay, the sun is a huge star, right? With a huge enormous amount of mass in it, right? Now that one and the earth's mass is also also huge, right? Now both of these objects and the distance between these two, the distance between the sun and the earth is also also large, very large actually, way more than what we have. And the force of gravity between these two, that one will also be very large, right? Now put all of this value into this equation, the answer that you will get after the calculation is again 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11. Now forget about all of these things. Now just consider the entire galaxy, entire Milky Way galaxy and some other objects somewhere in outside the galaxy. The gravitational force between these two will be, if you calculate, if you find out the mass, if you calculate the things, if you put all of the values again in this equation, the value that you will get will also be same, this one. So the reason for me to say all of these things is that no matter what the values you put, the constant G will always remain this only. That is why we call it a constant, to be honest. Okay, now up to this part all of you understood, right? Let me rub this one. So up to this part all of you understood, right? So this would be the equation by which we can find out the value of capital G. Now technically this is a constant. Okay, now from the very beginning of this year's classes I was saying you that SI units are very important for you, right? If you do not put proper units after the calculations, your marks would be deducted. Always remember that units are very important. Now see here, in here this constant capital G also has a SI unit. What is that unit? I will calculate this thing for you now. See, let us calculate the SI unit for capital G here. Capital G is given by force into distance square divided by mass into mass, right? Let us put their values where they belong. Okay, sorry, not the values, the SI units. Okay, now what is the SI unit of force? What is the SI unit of force? Newton, right? So we can write Newton. Okay, now what is the SI unit of distance? Distance er SI unit ki meter, right? Meter, very good, meter. But meter ta kintu square there, we have meter square, right? Distance square, so I should write meter square, right? Meter square. Okay, now see, divided by mass into mass. What does that mean? Mass er SI unit ki, kg, right? Kg to, now I should write kg into kg. Okay, so এবার একটু আরেকটু ক্যালকুলেট করি। নিউটন মিটার স্কয়ার divided by kg square. I can write this. Understood? So that will mean the SI unit of capital G is Newton meter square per kg square. Newton meter square per kg square. All of you understood, I hope, right? So this will give you the final value of capital G. 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. All of you understood? I'm opening the video audio. If you have
একটু লাস্ট পার্টটা পার মিটার স্কয়ারের পরে যেটা তুমি বলছিলে লাস্ট পার্টটা
per meter square Newton meter square divided by kg মানে kg যদি মাল্টিপ্লাই করি কি হয় kg স্কয়ার না that Newton into meter square divided by kg square লিখতেই পারি আমি এরকম ভাবে লিখতে পারি তো বুঝতে পারতেছিস মানে আর ডিভাইডটাকে আমি কিভাবে বলি পার ডিভাইড বলি না কিন্তু আমরা এখানে SI ইউনিটের সময় আমরা বলি পার রাইট নিউটন মিটার স্কয়ার পার কেজি স্কয়ার বুঝতে পারছিস এবার বুঝতে পারছিস
ইয়েস স্যার
এখন যদি আমি তোকে জিজ্ঞেস করি হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইউনিট ফর গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল কনস্ট্যান্ট ইউনিভার্সাল গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল কনস্ট্যান্ট কি বলবি নিউটন মিটার স্কয়ার পার কেজি স্কয়ার আন্ডারস্টুড
নিচে যেটা লিখেছে নিউটন মিটার স্কয়ার পার কেজি স্কয়ার আগে কি লিখেছে এটা নিউমেরিক্যালটা
এটা ভ্যালুটা ক্যাপিটাল জির ভ্যালু কত 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11 লিখতাম না এতদিন এই যে নিউমেরিক্যাল করলি এতদিন ধরে বসে বসে
স্যার
হ্যাঁ বল
6.7 আর 6.67 তো সেম না
একই রাউন্ড অফ করলে 7ই আই তো 6.7 দিয়ে ক্যালকুলেট করতে ইজি আর অ্যাকচুয়ালি তো ভ্যালুটা আরো অনেক বড়
মানে
স্যার তুমি তো আমার এটা আবার বুঝতে দাও না
কোন পোরশনটা
স্যার
পুরোটা
এইটা
বুঝতে না এই নিউটনের থেকে
দেখ ফোর্সের এসআই ইউনিট কি নিউটন না
ইয়েস স্যার
আর ডিসটেন্সের এসআই ইউনিট কি মিটার স্কয়ার না
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
মিটার স্কোয়ার না অ্যাকচুয়ালি মিটার, ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু ডিস্টেন্স স্কোয়ার তো
মিটার
এখানে।
মিটার।
তো ডিস্টেন্স স্কোয়ারের দিকে আমরা মিটার স্কোয়ারে লিখতেছি, বুঝছস?
ইয়েস স্যার।
এইবার ডিভাইডেড বাই কেজি ইনটু কেজি, মানে মাসের এসআই ইউনিট কি কেজি না? তো দুইটা মাস আছে, মাস 1 মাস 2, এদিকে কেজি ইনটু কেজি মানে কেজি স্কয়ার, ঠিক আছে, এদিকে কেজি স্কয়ার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
ওই ফাইনাল লেখা দিলাম নিউটন মিটার স্কয়ার পার কেজি স্কয়ার, শেষ এইটুকু।
স্যার
বলো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার ক্লিয়ার।
স্যার এটা বুকে কেজি মাইনাস স্কয়ার কেন
ওইটা দেখ তোরা,
ডিভাইড হয়ে যাবে?
আরে বাবা এটা তো করছস আগে, দেখ এক্সপোনেন্টস করছস না তোরা, এক্সপোনেন্টস এ
এটাই বলছি নাকি
1/3 স্কয়ার, এটাকে আমি এইভাবে লিখতে পারি না 3 - 2।
এটাই তো বলছিলাম যে এটা এইভাবে হবে কিনা।
হ্যাঁ এইভাবেই
স্ক্রিন
হবে।
দেখা যাচ্ছে।
আমি এইভাবেও লিখতে পারি এটা, নিউটন
হ্যাঁ এটাই
মিটার
বলছি।
স্কয়ার পার কেজি স্কয়ার, এটা আর এটা একই জিনিস, মানেটা একই, এইভাবেও লিখতে পারি, এটা খালি লেখার
হ্যাঁ এটাই
রিপ্রেজেন্টেশন।
বলছিলাম আমি।
হ্যাঁ বুঝেছো? বুঝেছো না বুঝোনি?
বুঝেছি তো।
ভেরি গুড।
ও স্যার আমি বুঝেছি এখন।
বাবা একেবারে আমার সিনচানের ছোট নাতি।
যাই
Okay.
গলা তুমি পার করতে পারবে না। স্যার
হ্যাঁ
তোমার বোর্ডে লেফট সাইডে লেখো, লেফট সাইডে। মানে আমার লেফট, তোমার কি তা আমি জানি না।
টিভির দিকে না টিভির উল্টা দিকে?
টিভির দিকে,
স্যার টিভির দিকে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে তাই করব।
টেলিভিশন স্ক্রিনের দিকে।
ঠিক আছে এবার আমি
আচ্ছা,
এবার আমি
জিনিস
লাগাই।
তাহলে জিনিস হলো স্যার,
না বলিস না।
স্যার বড় বড় করে পুরো বোর্ডটাকে কভার করি, তাহলে সবাই বুঝবে।
এই চ্যাপ্টারের মেজর ইকুয়েশন হইছে কি ইউনিভার্সাল ল অফ গ্র্যাভিটি। দিস ইজ দ্য প্রাইমারি ইকুয়েশন এন্ড দিস ইজ দ্য only equation that you will be needing here. This is the most important equation, this one. That is why I'm using red color to mark this one. Okay, now I hope that all of you can see the screen properly now. See, I will show you another kind of a change in this. Okay, all of you remember now one equation that I gave you before I started this chapter. Force is also given by mass into acceleration. All of us know this thing, right? Force can be also given by mass into acceleration of the object, right? So also we know that the force is given by G m1 into m2 by r square. Both of the equations are true. You remember you used to do substitutions in earlier classes. We will do the same thing here. See, so we can write force equal to capital G m1 m2 divided by r square. Now I'm just substituting this f with this one, this value. Just try to understand. I'm just putting this thing here. Mass into acceleration equal to capital G mass 2 by r square. Okay, we can write the equation like this also, right? Now let us take one case. Case 1. Gravity between Earth and an object of mass m small m. ওকে, তো এই যদি কেস হয় এই যদি কেস হয়, we have to consider let mass of earth be me. Okay, একটু কেসটা আমি একটু এলাবোরেট করি। The gravity between the earth and an object of mass m. Okay, and where the object should lie, object is on the surface of the earth, earthের সারফেসের উপরে। ওকে, মানে this will mean that this is the earth, ঠিক আছে, এটা তো আর্থটা, আর একটা অবজেক্ট, এই ছোট্ট একটা অবজেক্ট আর্থের সারফেসের উপরে বয়ে গেছে, ঠিক আছে। তবে এই দুইটা অবজেক্টের মাঝখানে গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল পুলটা কিরকম? গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল পুল তো আছে, আমরা জানি, ঠিক না? গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল পুল তো আছে, গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল পুল আছে দেখাই তুই এখন চেয়ারে বসে আছিস, আমি এখন দাঁড়ায়া থাকতে পারতেছি, or else we would have been flying off, right? আকাশে এমনি ভাসতাম হইলে আমরা, ঠিক না? We are not, right? Only due to the gravitational pull. Gravitational pull আছে, that is why we are stuck to the ground. Understood? Now see, if this is true, then the earth and this object has a gravitational pull of their own, right? There is a gravitational pull between these two. Now the mass of the earth is considered to be me, and the mass of the tiny object is tiny m, chotto m. Okay, got it? And what is the distance between these two objects? Do you remember from yesterday, not yesterday, actually in the last class I told you, where to find out the distance between two objects you always have to measure from the middle. একটু elaborate করি জিনিসটা বোঝার চেষ্টা কর। Consider an object is there, another object is there. এই দুইটার মাঝখানে আমি ডিসটেন্সটা কিভাবে মেজার করব? Should I start from here? এখান থেকে এখান পর্যন্ত ডিসটেন্সটা মাপুম? Will I do that? Or I will start from here to here? Or I will start from the center to the other center? I will always start from the center and I will go to the other center. Okay, remember that, from one center to other center, always remember that. Okay, so using this theory here, we have to start measuring the distance between these two objects from the center of the earth to the center of this object. Now compared to the size of the entire earth, the object is very tiny, right? Now even if you consider the Burj Khalifa or even the Mount Everest, compared to the entire size of our planet, those things are just a tiny piece, right? Just a stone, right? And what about us? We are negligible actually compared to the entire mass of the earth, entire size, entire dimension of the earth, right? So we don't have to consider the size of this tiny object. It is negligible, and also the mass of this object is also negligible, very tiny compared to the entire earth. You are talking about the entire planet on which we are thousands and millions and billions of peoples, and every single thing are living on, right? So we don't have to consider the mass of these things. Clear? Now what will we consider is, using this theory, we should measure the distance between these two objects from the center of the earth, right? So from the center of a spherical surface like this to the circumference, what do we call this thing? The radius, right? So this will actually show you the radius of the earth. Understood? From the center of the earth, and we are standing on the surface of the earth, so that would be the circumference of the circle, right? We are actually standing on the surface of the earth, that is the circumference of the circle. We are standing on the circumference of the circle, and we have to measure from the center. Now from the center to the circumference, this is the radius of the circle, right? So this is the radius of the entire earth. So you understood this thing, I hope, right? Now see, so using this theory, let us put this thing into perspective here, into the equation here. So this m, this tiny m is representing the mass of the object. Okay, this small m is representing the mass of the object. Okay, now acceleration, capital G. Now m1 will become mass of the earth. That was a special case, I have already mentioned it. Mass of the earth, one of the object is the earth, so we will put the mass of the earth here, right? So mass of the earth multiplied mass of the object divided by the distance between the two objects, that is the radius of the earth. See, the distance between the two objects is given by the radius of the earth. Clear? I hope all of you understood up to this part. Now just look at the entire equation properly. I can just, anyone have any problem? Okay, Devashmita, I will come back to you again. Now just look at this entire equation again. Now if you are good in mathematics, you can understand that we have to cut these two values are same, we can just reduce this two. If I change the side of this one, it will come here and it will cancel each other out. These two will cancel each other out, right? So the mass of the objects are cancelled out. Now we will get that the acceleration is given by so what is this acceleration? This, my dear, is the acceleration due to the gravitational force of the earth. Understood? Now if I pick up Tutankar and throw him like this, okay, he will be falling towards the ground, right? But at what speed, at what acceleration? Need to remember this thing. This would be the acceleration due to gravity. He will be moving towards the ground, right? If I take this pen and I let it go like this, what will happen? It will go, it will drop down, right? So it is motion, it is a motion. And in the first part, when before I started this chapter, I told you guys that to start a motion we need an external force. The external force in this case is gravitation. You understood this? Now due to this external force, the object is moving downwards like this, right? The object is actually falling downwards like this, right? Now, and due to this external force, if the object is moving downwards, it is in motion. And if it is in motion, if there is an external force acting on the object, it should be an accelerated motion. You remember from the last class I told you guys, when an object is going downwards, right? Clear, right? You understood all of these things? When the object is moving, when the object was moving, there was an external force acting on it. If an external force was acting on it, it should have an acceleration. If no force is acting, then it should not have any acceleration, right?
ফোর্স আছে, ফোর্সটা কি এখানে গ্র্যাভিটেশনাল ফোর্স, গ্র্যাভিটি ইজ পুলিং ইট ডাউনওয়ার্ডস, রাইট? তো একটা ফোর্স আছে, এক্সটার্নাল ফোর্স, এখানে গ্র্যাভিটি। গ্র্যাভিটি যদি মোশনটাকে স্টার্ট করে তবে এটা তো অ্যাসিলারেটেড মোশন হবে। ওই অ্যাসিলারেশনটাকে বলে অ্যাসিলারেশন ডিউ টু গ্র্যাভিটি। ওই অ্যাসিলারেশনের ইকুয়েশন হচ্ছে কি এটা, আর এটার জন্য একটা স্পেশাল টার্ম ইউজ করা হয়। এ লিখি না, আর এটাকে আমরা এ দেওয়া হয় না, এর জায়গাতে লিখি জি, স্মল জি ইজ ইকুয়াল টু ক্যাপিটাল জি এম ই বাই আর ই স্কয়ার।